Bang, bang, guys. Welcome back to another week of the golf show. It's just going to be Dustin and I tonight. Chris has fallen asleep on us. But we're coming off a good week where we picked Scotty and Rom correctly and Sergio to make us some money at the WGC. And now we are staying in Texas, going down to the Valero Open in our backyard, somewhat, San Antonio. It's one of the toughest stops on tour. It's almost 7,500 yards. Greg Norman designed it like 2009, 2010-ish. And he's made it fairly tough. I think on average, there's about 2 less birdies and 2 more bogeys per round, the tour average. So makes it a little bit of a tougher course. We're staying on Bermuda greens. And we have a decent field. DJ did withdraw today, which I think Kevin Knott inspired that with his shit talking on the 13-inch putt that he didn't concede before DJ picked it up. And so now we're going to get pissed off DJ next week at Augusta. So this is the final tournament before the Masters. So you do have a handful of guys like Charles Howell, I think Keegan Bradley, a few other people who haven't qualified for the Masters, so this is their only chance to get in. And if you remember, a couple of years ago, it was Corey Connors who won this tournament to get into the Masters, and that really took his career off to a new level because now he's been a fairly consistent golfer the last year and a half.
Didn't Ricky have to win?
Yeah, because Fowler, sorry, I didn't even see him. How cheap is he this week?
8,100.
Oh, yeah. Fowler is outside the Masters.
Yeah.
For the first time, I think, in like a decade.
He's just been not good.
But,
well, can we talk about the Kevin Na?
Yes.
So I know, I mean, you get both sides, right? Okay, well, Na was technically playing by the rules, and I mean, it's like, come
DJ's not going to fucking miss that putt.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, for you to stop and do that, like, but, it worked. I mean, even though Kevin Na had nothing to play for, that's the other thing, right? You literally have nothing to play for. You're just being a little a-hole. And I don't know. That's just my thought on it is, who was it?
And I get it because I think it was Kuchar did that a couple of years ago.
Kuchar was a bigger D about it because he didn't. Because at least Kevin Na, even though he was a dick about it, he still
gave it to him. Kuchar made him lose the hole.
Kuchar made him lose the hole.
That's a very Kuchar thing to do.
Total Kuchar thing to do. It was against Sergio too, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a underlying, if it's a foot, like it should be conceded no matter what. I don't think the players should get to necessarily, that was 1 inch over the line or whatever. But it was funny. I liked watching Kevin Na try to put his hand on DJ, and DJ was like, "Get off me, bro."
I feel like DJ is going to come out and obliterate everybody next week.
I don't know, because DJ is so emotionless, I guess. So I don't know if that necessarily plays to his whatever, but I kind of wish it'd been like Bryson or somebody that's a little more vocal, because it'd have been a lot more enjoyable. Patrick Reed for that.
All right, let's hop into this week with DJ withdrawing. We got 4 guys up top. It should be fairly easy for this range, at least. Who you got in this range, D?
Why was DJ even in it?
Because they were going to pay him an appearance fee, I think.
Makes sense. For me, if we're looking at 10 and up, I'm gonna go. I'm leaning. Gosh, it's kind of crazy to say because Finau, I feel like, is the better of the 3, but Spieth and Scheffler, I just feel like have been playing really well. Obviously Sheff getting second here in Austin, and Jordan's been playing really, really well as of late. And Finau hasn't been playing bad either. I don't know, when I look at it, it's a kind of a weaker field, and I think you get more in trouble because I mean it is a long course, but it does pay to hit fairways. So I guess if push came to shove, I'm going to go Scheffler. But I don't know if I'll play any of these guys, to be honest with you.
I'm with you on that. I really feel like Scheffler's going to withdraw, to be honest, to go get ready for the Masters. And you have some of these guys, if they have a bad Thursday, they'll check out and leave.
Yep.
As quick as they can Friday.
Yeah, you got to be worried about is like, and like you said earlier, is what are they playing for, right? I mean, some of these guys obviously are playing just for money. Some are trying to play to get in the Masters. Some are just tuning up. So, I think the fact that Spieth's here, he's a Texas guy. He's got his game going on. I feel like he's one of those that is going to try to win. So, you could take that into account in something like this.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Finau's great, but 11,000 for him kind of makes it hard to fit anybody else in. And I'm not paying 10-1 for Matsuyama. So it'd be Spieth or Scheffler, and I'm with you. I'll probably fade this entire range personally. But if you do play somebody, I'd probably say Spieth.
I just feel like some of these other guys, even though they're maybe not as talented overall, I think have been playing really good golf and, can give you the same type of value that you're going to get. Because if you're paying up there, then they need to win or finish top 5. And I can see them easily, some of these other guys doing that too. So who do you like from the 9K up?
It's a good range, I think. I really like Corey Connors again. He destroyed us last week.
Yeah, he was our one bad.
He was cruising, and then Matt Wolff just came out and beat the brakes off of him like 5 holes in a row, and then he was just done. He couldn't do shit the rest of the week.
Who hadn't played well in months.
It sucked. Answer, who broke our hearts, and another guy who just couldn't get done in their playoff. And I really like Charlie Hoffman this week. He rates out well. He has a really good course history. He's been playing very well lately. 9,200 is pretty cheap. And Connors and Hoffman are kind of probably my 2 go-to in this range. What about you?
Yeah, my problem is Connors, Palmer, Tringali, Hoffman, that core group right there, I like them all. So, yeah, I know. I got to figure out, which one. I mean, Ryan Palmer, phenomenal course history besides the last couple of years. Obviously, we didn't play last year, but Texas guy, kind of resurgence of late in his game. I think he's 44, so kind of turning on at a later age. You got Tringali, he's been playing well. Corey, obviously, and then Hoffman, who's kind of under the radar, been striking the ball very, very well, and then obviously has great course history too. So it's going to be tough. I don't want any part of Kuchar down there. I mean, obviously he played pretty well at the match play, but just outside of that, he hasn't played well at all. And I think he didn't have any birdies against Scheffler, if I remember correctly, on the round.
I honestly don't remember. I know going into his match with Spieth, he had the most birdies of anybody in the tournament. And I think he just played poorly against Scheffler.
Yeah, so
he missed every putt.
Yeah, even the last one, he had a great look on 18. But I'm venturing away from Kuchar at 9,000. I think last week kind of bumped him up price wise, but I don't want a one hit wonder. He's not been very good for over a year, so I'm going to stay away.
I think we're both on the same page. There'll be some regression to his mean of the last 18 months, and you won't see what we saw in the last week at the WGC.
It's a completely different type of game too. I mean, you had some guys. Who was it? I remember you text me. They shot 6 under or something and lost.
Brian Harmon shot like 7 or 8 under against Cantley and lost. And then the next day, Ortiz shot 5 under against Cantley and lost.
Yeah,
so it's just completely different.
Yeah, and then you have guys that shoot 1 under and win. Yeah. So, what about the 8,000? There's some intriguing guys, and this is where I think you're going to make your money because you're going to have to choose between guys like Kurt, Johnson, Bradley, who I like all 3 of those. Dahmen, obviously, I think you think he might withdraw too, but obviously
I think he's going to be drunk all week.
coming off the win where the guy, the putt, he was giving the Tiger pump.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, dang, that sucks.
I know. I sent that to you, and I was like, I'd be sick. It's like when I was celebrating beating your ass on that hole, and you sank like a 40-foot par putt, and I wasn't even paying attention. I just heard the ball drop in the hole.
Star Ranch.
The complete opposite of that.
Star Ranch, if I remember correctly.
Oh my gosh, that box putt. No, but I think it's very, very good range. I'm going to fade Cam Davis this week, which I think will not be what most people do because he's kind of a darling. He scores well. But I would rather play Chris Kirk. I think he's my favorite player in this range, to be honest with you. He's been playing very well. He's another guy who he won't get into the Masters unless he wins. I don't know if he can necessarily win, but golf is pretty crazy, and we've seen worse people than him win tournaments.
I mean, you look at the guy. I mean, we've played him a lot in showdowns. It seems like over the past month. But you go back and look what he's done. Is a second, 16th, and then he had a miscut, 16th, 8th, 48th, 25th. So playing
very
really
solid.
Yeah, really good golf. You look at the tournament history. He kind of alternates years, the last four. But he has two top eights and a 13th, 3 of the 5. So that's saying something. He rates really well my model. Let me see. I think he's
19th, and then 10th. I'm at the rolling report. He's top 20 in my last.
13th in my actual model, and I mean, pretty good at everything. He's a little shaky in the 105. I mean, the 175 to 200 proximity, but everything else he's really solid. So,
all right, gun to your head, Fowler or Sam Burns?
I'm gonna go Fowler just because the willpower, maybe. I don't know. I don't like either one of them, to be honest with you.
I think they both missed a cut.
I mean, you had Fowler with the waste management where it took him. He was leading for 4 years in a row, and then finally got a win after just falling apart. So, I mean, like you said, golf is crazy. He's kind of hit that point in his career where your name and what you've done can only get you so far, and so he's got to actually go out and play well again. And can he do it? I mean, the field's there for him to be able to, but he's 8,100 for a reason.
I will say, I would love to have his problem of making $50 million playing golf over the last decade and be like, oh, I'm kind of struggling, but still making a couple mil a year off commercials.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The great thing about Ricky is the outside of golf, right? The Puma, what is he, Farmers, I think, or something?
Farmers, yeah.
Rocket Mortgage, I think, too. So, he's a very recognizable face of golf. It's just, I mean, what has he ever really done?
He won the Players after he was voted the most overrated player on tour by his peers.
Which is kind of cool. Has a smoking hot wife, so a lot of good things going for him. He's just not an elite golfer in terms of today's, whatever you want to call
it. Yeah, there's just so much talent now. That's why, looking back last week, our approach was looking at all the top seeds and how to work our way in. We had the only top 20 seed that advanced in John Rahm, but the talent is so good on tour right now that you have all these guys who you're like, how are they going to beat a DJ or any of them? And in that format, it didn't matter, and it does matter a little bit more in this one, but still, these guys get hot, they get hot.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, all these guys are capable. What makes the DJs and the ROMs and the JTs stand out is because they're so consistent. And with match play, like you said, you could face a hot guy 2 days in a row, even though you played good golf, you still lost. So obviously, it lends itself to better golfers in these 4-day tournaments. But anybody can get hot. I mean, you see it every year. You got a guy that's doesn't do anything, and he'll win a tournament out of the blue.
All right. So this is going to be the tough range, I feel like, where you really got to pick your spot correctly. Let's do the 7K range and who you like and who you fading.
I think Ryan Moore's going to be super popular just because.
For a good reason.
Yeah, I mean, look at the course history, and he's phenomenal. Gained a ton of strokes here. He's actually, rates out super great in my model too. So, I mean, somebody at 7,900 that's gone 3 7th, 18th the last 3 years, you kind of got to put a big focal point on. So I really like him. HV3's intriguing. He's kind of fire and ice type of guy. Sometimes you take him and he'll do really well, and the other times he's, +8 or something crazy like that. So he has pretty good course history. Nothing great, but nothing terrible. So I like those guys at the top, and then you got some interesting guys like Woodland, Munoz. Some of these guys that played well this year or at times. EVR. So Gim down there, your boy. I mean, are you looking his way?
I am. He rates out really good for me.
Till Sunday.
As long as it's not a windy Sunday, we have a chance. The unfortunate thing is it's always fucking windy in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a bunch like Charles Howell, love him. Putnam, like him. Gim is, he's kind of my go-to guy, I guess, these days. The guy who we always play in Showdown, it seems, is Munoz.
Yep.
So he's there. I mean, there's just so many good guys here. I really looked at Patton Kazire at first too, because he'd been okay lately, and this just feels like a course he'd do well on.
Yeah, we used him in a Showdown a couple times lately too.
But like Ryan Moore's been phenomenal. Putnam has good course history, and then even Martin Laird. I think he has 4 made cuts the last 5 years, including a couple top 20s.
Yep.
I mean, there's a very wide range of plays down here. We'll break it down more in the deep dive, but there's a lot of good guys in play.
Yeah, and then especially with not as much talent at the top. I think this is definitely one of those terms you can see a guy down here, or maybe a couple guys like we've seen, in the top 10 vying for a spot on Sunday, to have a chance to win it. Chapel.
Oh. So then you get down to the 6K range, and it's like all the top of the leaderboard from last week at the Corrales.
Yeah.
I mean, like Campos, Gordon.
Yeah, you had my boy Sepp up there. I think he was like 70-something hundred, but he was up there last week. I think he finished like 8th or something.
We're both in agreement on Jim Furyk this week.
Yes. We talked about that before without even comparing notes. I said I like Jim, and you said you had him in your initial lineup. So, he's just been playing solid golf. He's not, is he going to win it? Slim chance to none, but can he finish in the top 20? Yeah.
I think I probably won't dabble too much in this range, because I don't really see the need to. I know there's a couple of the guys I like Furyk. I am interested to see how Grayson Sigg plays this week. He's a Korn Ferry stud, and this could be a good opportunity for him to kind of bust out on the scene and make a run to try and get onto the tour. But other than that, man, like the guys who read out well for me, I'm not going to click. Like Burgoon is high up in my model. I'm not clicking him. So with Bo Hogue, Nick Watney, like JJ Spawn, Padraig Harrington. No, this is where you got to realize, no matter what the model says, you got to have some common sense with it.
What about Percy? You like him?
I just don't see the need to play him. Yeah. I'm kind of a Furyk, Sigg, or Chappell.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make our money in that
7K range.
800, yeah, 7 to 800 range, and then figure out who we really like. Maybe the upper 8s or lower 9s, and kind of go.
Because if you're not using Phenom, you don't need to go down here.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I mean, that kind of breaks it down for the most part. We'll actually have a more in-depth breakdown.
Let me ask you this: one golfer, if you can pick one golfer, regardless of range, to finish top 10, who you picking?
I'm not going to be a smart ass and pick someone who's expensive. I'd say in a mid-tier range, Charles Howell.
Okay.
I feel like he's a guy who's been playing very well lately, and he needs to get into Augusta.
I like it.
His route.
There you go. Little nugget.
All right. Well, those of you who made it this far, we appreciate you. Go ahead and like the video, leave a comment. You can follow us on socials at DDFS Dads on Twitter and Facebook. And then we'll have a couple more videos out for you this week. And for those of you who are paid subscribers, we will have all of our helpful lineup tips and our deep dive out in the next couple of days. So appreciate you guys. Dustin, any last words?
Go make that money.
And remember, whoever Dustin says to fade, lock that motherfucker into your lineup.
Lock them in.